From Amateur Radio Newsline Report number 2184, these are the Ham Nation headlines for Wednesday, September 11th, 2019. Our top story this week is Hurricane Dorian. As Newsline went to production, the Atlantic storm was blasting towards Florida and the Carolinas in the United States, with wind speeds of more than 105 miles per hour after having battered the Caribbean. Newsline anchor Neil Rapp, WB9 VPG, has more.
Bobby Graves, KB5 HAV, manager of the Hurricane Watch Net, reported that the net was in continuous operation since Saturday the 31st of August and had open-ended plans to remain active on 14.325 megahertz and 7.268 megahertz. He said the net planned to provide backup communications for the Red Cross, storm shelters, and government agencies as needed. He said that the net would also provide Federal Emergency Management Agency officials at the National Hurricane Center with information about damages caused by the storm. With the National Hurricane Center amateur radio station WX4NHC activating, the voice-over IP hurricane net was seeking reports from hams in areas affected by Dorian. Dorian made its trip north, having already left a devastated Caribbean in its wake, leaving what Prime Minister Hubert Minnis called a historic tragedy that left at least 20 dead.
Radio operators and space enthusiasts in the United Arab Emirates have their eyes on the sky.
The main and backup crews completed their 2 days of final tests on the 30th of August just outside Moscow in preparation for their trip to the International Space Station on the 25th of September. The main crew includes Hassan al-Mansouri, the first Emirati astronaut, who, with the help of the Emirates Amateur Radio Society, will communicate over radio from the ISS to the Mohammed bin Rashid Space Center in Dubai. The mission is designed to last until October the 4th for al-Mansouri, a 36-year-old military pilot. He was selected in April for the mission, which will include experiments that study how the human body responds to microgravity, as well as experiments done in conjunction with 16 schools across the United Arab Emirates. You can keep tabs on the progress of al-Mansouri and his fellow astronauts by following the Twitter account at MBR Space Center. That's center spelt with an R-E. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Jim Meechan, ZL2BHF.
If you're looking for a way to honor generations of American military heroes, prisoners of war, and those missing in action, there's a special event coming up that will give you the opportunity.
National POW MIA Recognition Day came into being in 1979 when Congress and the U.S. President declared it a national day to remember those in the military who never returned home from service. 11 years ago, amateur radio operators stepped in and took the honor further, activating the first special event station keeping with the theme of the day, which this year falls on September 20th. The station, K4MIA/8, and a number of its sister stations will be on the air on 40 meters. Contacts can also be made on low Earth orbit satellites and in digital modes. QSL cards will be made available to those who have had valid contacts, but requests must include a stamped self-addressed envelope. The website military.com notes that a Congressional Record Service report counts 130,201 World War II service members who were put in prison. Of those, 14,072 died. 7,140 service members were in prisons during the Korean War, and 2,701 of them died. There are other conflicts, of course, and other figures. The K4MIA/8 special event honors them all. Be listening. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Jim Dameron, N8TMW.
And that's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline, your independent source for amateur radio news for 4 decades and counting at arnewsline.org. With Neil Rapp, WB9 VPG, Jim Meechan, ZL2BHF, Jim Dameron, N8TMW, Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team across the globe. I'm Don Wellbanks, AE5DW. 7-3. We'll see you next time here on Ham Nation.